Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a soft whisper touching your heart. It is a voice so gentle, yet so full of power, saying to you, "Nothing is impossible for God." Picture yourself standing in your quiet room at dawn. The world is still asleep. Everything is calm. You open your heart and speak words filled with deep faith, words that rise like a prayer and reach heaven itself. This is what Saint Padre Pio did every morning. He was a simple man, a Capuchin friar, who gave his whole life to God. His days were filled with prayer, healing, and helping others. People came from all over the world to see him, to speak with him, to ask him to pray for them. Many miracles happened through him, but his real strength came from something very simple, a morning prayer, a sacred moment that opened the doors of heaven. Every morning before the sun came up, Padre Pio would rise from his bed. He would take a candle and walk quietly to the small chapel at San Giovanni Rotondo. There he would kneel before the altar and look up at the cross of Jesus. His eyes would fill with love and sadness for the suffering of Jesus. Then, in a quiet voice full of faith and love, he would begin to pray, "My Lord and my God, I give you my heart today. Use it according to your will. Teach me to love as you love. Heal what needs healing. Open every closed door in my life, and grant me the grace to trust you more." These words were not fancy or complicated. They were simple, but Padre Pio prayed them with all his heart. He believed them. He trusted God completely, and that made all the difference. Before Padre Pio ever received the stigmata, the wounds of Christ on his own hands and feet, before people came to him with their problems and pain, he had already found something very special. He had found the power of prayer, and not just any prayer, but a prayer that came from the deepest part of his soul. He didn't need long speeches or big words. He just needed to give his heart to God every morning and ask God to use it. Padre Pio was born in 1887 in a small town in Italy. His real name was Francesco Forgione. Even as a little boy, he loved to pray. He would go into the fields and talk to Jesus as if he was standing right beside him. He knew even then that Jesus listened. Over time, Padre Pio learned the importance of saying the same prayer each day. The prayer helped him stay close to God. It helped him grow in faith. He told many people, "Say this prayer every day, and you will see God's hand move in your life." And people listened. They started praying it too. Soon, stories of miracles began to spread. One woman was very afraid. She had to go through a serious surgery, and her fear made her feel frozen inside. Her friends told her to pray Padre Pio's morning prayer every day. She did. She prayed with hope, asking God to help her. Soon her fear disappeared. She felt peace. Her surgery went better than expected. The doctors were amazed. Another man was trapped in addiction. He wanted to stop, but he didn't know how. He started praying Padre Pio's prayer each morning, holding on to it like a lifeline. Slowly he felt something change inside. The desire to use faded. Peace filled his heart. He found strength to stay clean. There was also a family that had no money left. Bills were piling up. They didn't know what to do. They began praying Padre Pio's morning prayer together every day before meals. At first nothing changed, but they kept praying. Then small blessings began to happen. A distant family member offered help. Bills were paid one by one. Doors they thought were closed began to open. A young woman preparing for exams felt overwhelmed with stress. Her anxiety was taking over her sleep and peace of mind. She discovered Padre Pio's morning prayer and made it her habit. Every day, before touching her books, she prayed. It centered her. Her fear began to fade. Her mind became clearer. She passed with excellent results and praised God for the strength He gave her. A father who lost his job began each day by praying the same words: "Open every closed door in my life." Weeks turned into months, but he didn't stop praying. Then, unexpectedly, he was offered a new job, better than the one before. He knew it was God's hand. All these stories show something important. The power was not in Padre Pio himself. It wasn't magic. It was in turning the heart toward God each and every morning with full trust. Padre Pio always said, "Give your heart to God. Let Him lead your day." That is where the real miracle starts. He also said that even when things don't seem to change, we must keep praying. Sometimes God waits before answering, not to hurt us, but to grow our faith. Padre Pio once wrote in a letter that God listens closely to those who never give up. He said, "Persevere. Keep going. The Lord sees your heart, and in time you will see His love." We can follow Padre Pio's example in our own lives. Each morning before we check our phones, before we rush into work or school or chores, we can pause. We can sit quietly just for a moment and say the prayer he loved. "My Lord and my God, I give you my heart today. Use it according to your will. Teach me to love as you love. Heal what needs healing. Open every closed door in my life, and grant me the grace to trust you more." When we say these words, we're not just asking for help. We are giving our day to God. We are saying, "Lord, I trust you more than my worries." We are inviting Jesus into every part of our lives. Imagine Padre Pio praying beside you. Imagine the soft glow of candlelight on his face. Picture saints and angels gathering around as you speak those holy words. And most of all, feel Jesus standing near, listening with love, ready to fill your day with grace. This prayer doesn't only change what happens around us, it changes us too. When we ask God to help us love like He does, we begin to treat others differently. We become kinder, more patient. Maybe we forgive someone we once held a grudge against. Maybe we offer a helping hand where before we stayed silent. These are small changes, but they are real miracles, because they show the love of God working inside our hearts. And what about healing? Not every healing is big and dramatic. Sometimes healing means finding peace after losing someone we love. Sometimes it means having courage during a hard time. It may even be feeling calm instead of anxious. These quiet healings matter deeply. God is always near to the brokenhearted. He makes beauty rise from the ashes. Then there are the closed doors in our lives. We all have them. Maybe it's a dream that feels lost. Maybe it's a job we didn't get, a relationship that ended, or something we hoped for that didn't happen. Padre Pio's prayer reminds us to give those doors to God. When we ask Him to open what is closed, we are trusting that He sees what we cannot. Sometimes He opens a new path. Sometimes He gives us peace to walk away. But always, He is working for our good. As you keep praying, you may want to write down what happens. Keep a small notebook or journal. Write down the ways you see God working. Maybe someone offers you encouragement just when you need it. Maybe you feel extra strength in a tough moment. Maybe a problem that seemed big becomes easier. These are signs of God's hand at work. Share your story. Tell others what God is doing. Not to show off, but to give hope. When we share how God is moving in our lives, It helps others believe too. Padre Pio also gave a warning. He said, don't treat prayer like a magic spell. Don't say the words only to get what you want. Prayer is not about getting things. It's about growing closer to God. It's about giving your heart to Him and letting Him lead you. Even when nothing changes right away, keep praying. Trust that God is working behind the scenes. We live in a world full of stress and fear, but this morning prayer can bring peace. It reminds us that God is in control. It reminds us that every day is a gift from Him, and it helps us begin each day with hope. So tomorrow, when the sun begins to rise, say this prayer. Say it with faith. Say it as a child speaks to a loving father. Say it as a traveler seeking rest on the journey. Say it knowing that God hears every word. Watch what happens. You may see small changes in your heart. You may find strength in a hard time. You may notice blessings you used to overlook, and slowly you will see the miracles. Remember, Padre Pio didn't have an easy life. He lived in poverty. He suffered greatly. He even bore the wounds of Jesus on his own body. But through all of it, he prayed. He stayed close to God. And God used him to bring healing and hope to thousands of people. And it all started with a simple prayer. So tonight, before you go to sleep, say the prayer again. Let it be the last thing on your lips before rest. Let it fill your dreams. Let it rise with you in the morning. Let it shape your heart. Let it be more than words. Let it be your offering. Make it a way of life. Say it when you wake. Say it at noon. Whisper it when you are tired, or when fear tries to creep in. Speak it when you feel joy and when you feel sorrow. Say it when you're waiting for an answer, for a door to open, for a new beginning. Say it when nothing makes sense and when everything becomes clear. Say it for others too. Say it on behalf of those who cannot find the words, for the sick, the lonely, the desperate, the lost. Let it be a light in the dark. And remember, every time you pray this way, you are not alone. You join with Padre Pio. You join with saints. You join with millions of hearts around the world, all lifting their voices to God. You are part of something eternal, something holy, something that transforms the world one prayer at a time. My Lord and my God, I give you my heart today. Use it according to your will. Teach me to love as you love. Heal what needs healing. Open every closed door in my life and grant me the grace to trust you more. Let this prayer echo in your soul. Let it guide your steps. Let it anchor you when storms come and lift you when hope seems far. And above all, let it remind you of this truth. God is near. He hears you. He loves you. And through your prayer, He will move. Because nothing is impossible for God.